Great pleasure right now to welcome today a man who'll be performing with the Boston Pops, one of the all-time great musical organizations at the Van Wezel, coming up on March the 15th at 8 o'clock start. And we're joined now by Keith Lockhart, who conducts the Boston Pops. Keith, thanks for being with us today. How are you?
Oh, it's my pleasure, Doug. I'm great. I'm in Atlanta right now doing an opera, but looking forward to going even further south to even warmer weather and joining you guys in the Sarasota area.
You're doing a nice Florida tour, I see. You kick it off at the Van Wezel on the 15th. About 5 or 6 shows around. That must be kind of nice. I guess, being in Boston's great, but not in the wintertime, right?
There are better places to be, and yes, our players always enthusiastically look forward to this tour. We come down to Florida, every other year. That's my annual tour, and Sarasota has been on the tour before, but it has been a while, so it's great to come back to the Sarasota-Bradenton area.
Great music lovers down here. As you know, they love all types of orchestral music, but particularly when the Pops come down, because what the Pops does that most other orchestras may not do as much of is obviously the songs from Broadway or Hollywood or popular music, in addition to the classics. So that's always been, I guess, kind of the thing that sets it apart, isn't it?
Well, my illustrious predecessor, Arthur Fiedler, had a great quote that I steal frequently. He said, "We only play one kind of music at the Boston Pops, the interesting kind."
Right.
We try to keep it interesting. This particular program is devoted to some music that really is American classic music, but it is the music of Broadway, the music of Irving Berlin, Leonard Bernstein, George Gershwin, Richard Rodgers, and majority, the entire second half, is a tribute to Cole Porter, whose immortal music and immortal lyrics really are part of, like the core of the American songbook.
Yeah, nobody better than Cole Porter. Really sophisticated music that he wrote back in the 20s and 30s and 40s, and must be kind of fun, I guess, as conductor, Keith. You get the chance to go through the library of music and pick out some of these songs. I guess that's sometimes a challenge too. Right? There's so much to choose from, right?
Well, it's actually a specific problem to the Pops. We play so much different music that it does make the choices a little bit harder. But when you look at Cole Porter, and you think of the man's legacy of the songs. I mean, things like Night and Day, The Lovely, Easy to Love, Begin the Begin, Let's Do It, Still of the Night, Anything Goes. You can just keep going on and on and on. The number of songs that are just known and loved by everybody is just mountainous. And we're joined by two great Broadway stars, Kelly O'Hara and Jason Danieli, who we performed this program with last year up in Boston, which is why we decided to bring it on the road, because it was that good.
Yeah, Kelly O'Hara, of course, just recently in South Pacific. I saw the PBS the telecast. I guess one of the final performances of that. She's a great performer and a great singer.
She is, and Jason, I believe, was in that same production playing Lieutenant Cable. And
right.
They two are two really wonderful performers on stage, glorious voices, and with the kind of wit and sparkle necessary to make Cole Porter's songs come to life.
One of the great programs on public television is the Boston Pops, when you invite the different artists in to do part of their concert with the orchestra. Those must be a lot of fun, I guess, to kind of rehearse and put together. You had guys like Nathan Lane and of course Mandy Patinkin just down here recently, and Jason Alexander. Those must be a lot of fun to do.
Well, when you look at the legacy of who crossed the stage for the Boston Pops during Evening at the Pops, the list is endless. Pretty much everybody whom anybody has heard of in almost any field of musical endeavor. We no longer do our regular 5 program a year thing on PBS. That's been away for a couple of years
right.
because of funding, but we still are occasionally there. And of course, people know us from the 4th of July and all the recordings and Christmas and you name it.
Yeah, my mom grew up in her early years in Boston. She has always told me she enjoyed part of her summers up there was to go see the Pops, not only on 4th of July, but in the hall there. So that really has become a tradition up there, and now touring around the country, it gives other people a chance now to enjoy that. And I guess that's kind of nice. I know it's probably logistically a little tricky to get all those musicians in one place at one time on the road, but it must be fun still, right?
It's kind of like moving an army around, like a military operation. We tour with an orchestra of about 75 or so. So there's close to 100 people having to be moved to various places, but it's worth it because the Pops is really a national arts institution. It really has a fan base all the way around the country. get out and we touch base with that constituency.
What kind of rehearsal schedule do you do? I know when you're on the road, you probably do maybe a quick one before every show. But when you're just up in Boston, do you rehearse every day with the orchestra, or how does that work?
Well, we perform during the pop seasons, which are rather strictly limited. We play a season that goes from the beginning of May through July 4th,
Mm-hmm.
and an intense season of holiday concerts from shortly after Thanksgiving through to New Year's. And during those times, we're busy all the time, but it's a very performance-driven sort of calendar. We rehearse a couple of times in the week and play 5 or 6 times in the week because, well, there's a lot of demand for the product, and we have a lot of people we want to satisfy.
And you always, like you said, have to change the program because the different types of popular music. You may do a different composer one concert than another, right? I mean, you do a Gershwin's show or something like that, right?
In a typical week at the Boston Pops, you could hear everything from a fairly strictly classical, very approachable, popular sort of classical concert to an indie rock musician doing their original compositions with the orchestra, to a Broadway show, to a jazz legend, and all of this in the space of 5 or 6 days.
And you're a busy man, just kind of reading some of the other things you're involved with, other orchestras as well. Artistic director in North Carolina. You've been with also in Utah. You worked with the Olympic Games, so you keep pretty busy, don't you, Keith?
I try to stay out of trouble. I find it works better that way.
The piano lessons paid off for you, right?
I suppose now my parents aren't regretting the investment.
That's right. You practiced when you were supposed to, so that it worked out. Well, Keith will be, of course, Keith Lockhart will be conducting the Boston Pops March 15th. That's at the Van Wezel right here in Sarasota, 8 o'clock concert, and then you move on to Ruth Eckert and all around the state of Florida. But Keith, appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk to us today. I know the people down here in Sarasota, Bradenton are going to come out and see the show, and we look forward to talking to you again.
Great. Look forward to it, too. Thanks very much. See you in a month.